Have you felt it? That subtle, yet unmistakable shift within, a quiet calling that whispers through the noise of everyday life, suggesting something profound is unfolding in your consciousness. Many seekers on the spiritual path recognize these spiritual awakening symptoms, but struggle to interpret their significance. You're not alone in wondering if these internal changes are signs you're approaching spiritual enlightenment. As spiritual teachers throughout history have observed, the journey toward enlightenment often announces itself through recognizable indications of nearing enlightenment. That feeling of standing at a threshold between your familiar self and something vast and luminous isn't imagination. It may be the most significant spiritual growth indicator you'll ever experience. But how can you tell if you're spiritually awakening? What does it feel like to stand at this sacred precipice? Today, we'll explore the one unmistakable sign that reveals you're truly on the brink of transformation. Before identifying the signs of spiritual awakening, we must clarify what enlightenment actually means. As Eckhart Tolle explains in The Power of Now, enlightenment isn't an exotic state to achieve, but rather our natural condition when we remove the obstacles obscuring it. Enlightenment symptoms manifest not as supernatural powers, but as a profound shift in perception and being. Thich Nhat Hanh describes enlightenment as the understanding of both the relative mode of existence and the absolute mode of existence. This state transcends intellectual understanding, representing instead a lived experience of awakening stages that progressively deepen our awareness. Enlightenment is not something we acquire, but something we uncover, a radical presence that emerges when we cease identifying exclusively with thought and recognize the conscious awareness beneath all experience. This fundamental shift in identity marks the essence of spiritual enlightenment, moving us from ego identification toward the spacious awareness at our core. Among all indicators of spiritual growth, one sign stands supreme in revealing your proximity to enlightenment: the emergence of unshakable inner peace, regardless of external circumstances. This isn't merely feeling calm on a quiet morning. It's maintaining serenity in life's most turbulent storms. Imagine standing in a crowded airport as your flight is canceled. Around you, frustration erupts. People argue with staff. Anxiety fills the air. Yet somehow, you notice something extraordinary happening within. While acknowledging the inconvenience, you remain anchored in a profound stillness. This is not indifference, but presence, a hallmark of approaching spiritual enlightenment. Those experiencing spiritual awakening symptoms report this phenomenon consistently. The chaos hasn't disappeared, but your relationship to it has transformed. When a colleague criticizes your work unfairly, instead of defensive reactions, you respond with clarity and compassion. When financial pressures mount, rather than succumbing to fear, you find yourself observing these challenges from a place of centered awareness. This peace transcends ordinary emotional states and represents one of the most significant awakening stages, the recognition that you are not the turbulence of life, but the consciousness witnessing it. As you progress on your spiritual path, this peace becomes increasingly unshakable. Why does this profound peace emerge as we near enlightenment? The answer lies in a fundamental shift in identity. The spiritual awakening process gradually dissolves our exclusive identification with thought patterns and emotional reactions. The power of now illuminates how this peace signifies detachment from ego consciousness. When we cease identifying with the incessant stream of thinking, we naturally discover the peaceful awareness that has always been present beneath the mental noise. This represents not an achievement, but a recognition of what was never actually lost. Similarly, teachings on the spiritual laws of success explain that enlightenment symptoms emerge when we align with our true nature. The peace we experience isn't something created but revealed, like clouds parting to expose the ever-present sky. For those asking how to know if you're spiritually awakening, this inner peace serves as the clearest indication. Unlike temporary emotional states, signs you're approaching spiritual enlightenment manifest as a stable recognition of your deeper identity beyond the personal self. This recognition creates a profound shift in how you experience life's inevitable challenges. As you progress through the spiritual awakening stages, profound shifts occur in everyday experience. Those recognizing spiritual awakening symptoms often report a dramatic reduction in anxiety and worry. The mind's tendency to project catastrophic futures diminishes as presence deepens, allowing you to engage with life's challenges from a place of centered awareness rather than reactivity. Increased compassion emerges naturally as the boundaries between self and others soften. The yogic wisdom traditions describe this as the heart opening, a natural consequence of recognizing the shared consciousness beneath individual forms. This compassionate awareness manifests in practical ways: greater patience with others, spontaneous generosity, and an intuitive understanding of others' struggles without becoming entangled in their emotions. Perhaps most notably, your relationship with material concerns transforms. While still engaging practically with finances and possessions, your identity and sense of worth become increasingly detached from external achievements or acquisitions. This shift represents a significant spiritual growth indicator, not renouncing the world, but relating to it from a place of freedom rather than compulsion. The path to enlightenment isn't without its final tests. When standing at the threshold of spiritual awakening, you may encounter what spiritual teachers call the dark night of the soul, a period when your deepest illusions and attachments surface to be released. These challenges aren't obstacles, but integral parts of the journey, purifying your consciousness for the transformation ahead. Many seekers report intense doubts arising just before breakthrough. You may question everything. Am I deceiving myself? Is this spiritual path authentic? These doubts represent the ego's final resistance as it senses its imminent transcendence. Similarly, unexpected fears may emerge, not of external threats, but of losing your familiar sense of identity. The question, "Who will I be?" becomes both terrifying and thrilling as you approach this threshold. Remember that indications of nearing enlightenment often include these very struggles. When wondering how to know if you're spiritually awakening, recognize that these challenges don't signal failure, but imminent breakthrough. The very questioning of your journey becomes a crucial part of it, the final purification before the dawn. When recognizing signs you're approaching spiritual enlightenment, certain practices can help you move gracefully through this transformation. Begin with deepening your mindfulness practice, not as a technique to achieve something, but as a way of honoring the awareness that's already awakening within you. Meditation becomes especially powerful during spiritual awakening stages. Rather than striving for particular experiences, simply sit with whatever arises. This receptive presence allows the enlightenment symptoms to unfold naturally, without resistance. The ancient wisdom traditions compare this to opening a fist, not grasping for awakening, but allowing it to reveal itself. Practice surrender in daily life by releasing attachment to specific outcomes. Notice when you're fighting against what is, and gently let go. The agreements we make with ourselves often limit our perception. Releasing these mental contracts creates space for expanded awareness. Self-observation without judgment becomes crucial, watching your thoughts and emotions like clouds passing through the vast sky of consciousness. This witnessing perspective naturally strengthens as you progress on your spiritual path, further accelerating your awakening journey. The very fact that you're drawn to understanding spiritual enlightenment suggests something profound. Your awakening has already begun. The question isn't whether you'll someday experience enlightenment. It's whether you'll recognize what's already unfolding within you. That sense of inner peace emerging amidst life's storms isn't coincidental. It's the unmistakable hallmark of your consciousness expanding beyond its familiar boundaries. As you notice these spiritual awakening symptoms in your life, remember that enlightenment isn't something you achieve through effort, but something you allow through recognition. The peace you occasionally glimpse isn't separate from you. It's your true nature revealing itself through the dissolving clouds of conditioning. Those experiencing spiritual growth indicators often ask, "How will I know when I've arrived?" But perhaps a more illuminating question is, what if I've never left? The state of presence and awareness you seek has always been your foundation. Like the ocean beneath the waves of thought and emotion,